Okay, this video is going to be my Xmas gift to you all, and I'm not going to hold back, and this is going to be fast-paced. I'm going to be jumping from subject to subject to try to get you to understand what the WTF is going on. I don't generally like posting videos like this because it makes people afraid. But I can't lean on that anymore, because what you fear is what you don't know. So if I just explain it to you, show it to you, tell it to you, and you can learn it, then you will have nothing to fear. Also, once you know how the magician gets the hat out of the bag, the rabbit out of the hat, that trick doesn't work anymore. And the fear is gone. The magic is gone. We're watching the old magic die and a new magic being formed. We were blind during the last several generations, especially Gen X, which I'm really focusing this video on. Are you Gen Xers? Because it's really about you. X is the mutable cross. This is your generation. This was your time. We were latchkey kids. We had no supervision. We had the greatest childhoods, literally, because we learned the hard way. We made our own money. We learned by experience. We didn't have helicopter parents. We didn't have somebody to cut our slack or that had our back. We had to do it on our own, and we learned the hard way. But in the process of doing all of that, while our parents, both parents were out of the house working, trying to feed us, they were busy. We were just doing our own thing, and the world changed, and nobody noticed. A few did, but it is so complex. Actually, it's so simple a child can understand it, but they've made it so complex that if you don't have a PhD level liberal arts education, you're not going to get it. So I'm going to try to cut through some of the smoke and mirrors, get to this right away so that you can see for yourself what is going on. And to do that, you must know symbolism, period. Confucius was right. This world is not ruled by words or laws. It's ruled by signs and symbols, period. You need to know what the sign represents, who's carrying it, and what magic or alchemy it represents, invokes, evokes, and provokes. Because that's where all of this is coming from. And you will know them by their fruit. The symbol of an apple tree is its fruit, an apple. So you will know them by their fruit means you will know them by their symbols. And that's what I want to give to you today. Now, before I've told you that there are two schools of thought. You have the solar worshippers and the lunar worshippers. But actually, there's more than that. Because our solar worshippers are on a calendar that is 23.5 degrees off from where it should be. And I'm watching them operate on that timeline. That's what I have just come to understand. So, there are 3 timelines. There are one lunar timeline, actually 2, because it also has been altered in 2012. So there are 2 lunar timelines and there are 2 solar timelines. Because that's how they divided us mentally. Now, let me jump back into symbolism real quick and give you a crash course. And to do that, I want to talk about, let me get my microphone straight, what Elon Musk did. And I'm probably going to do this man's chart soon and post it, just to see what comes up. because he's not who he claims to be or what he claims to be. All I know is that Twitter, I don't have any of these accounts. I have a Facebook account that I used to use for Facebook Marketplace and haven't used that in eons because I don't have money to shop. So it's irrelevant to me now. I have no X, no Twitter, no Instagram, no any of that, no TikTok. All that is, I don't have a 2-minute attention span. I need something that's in depth that I can watch for long periods of time or listen to comprehend what's going on. So my brain doesn't need entertainment, because that's all that is, to taint the inner mind. Okay. So we had Twitter. Let me pull up this. This will be easier to look at. We had Twitter. That was the blue bird. That was Gemini. Under the masculine axis of the mutable cross. Get my pen up here going. And he changed it to X. And it is a black X with a white bar. And that's Virgo Pisces axis. He moved it from the masculine axis that Europe is running off of to the feminine axis. So you have these two factions. You see people holding their hands with the triangle pointed upwards. That, what they call Illuminati. That is the Gemini-Sagittarius axis. That plays into today. I'm going to come full circle back to Christmas today and explain to you what Xmas actually is. And it's a mass to start with, which has to do with Catholicism. And and then you have the matriarch position, which Trump does. He shows you the triangle pointed down. That's the Pisces-Virgo axis. Now, if you've been following me, I am pro-fixed cross, which is Aquarius, Leo, Taurus, Scorpio. But this world, this age, is controlled by Mercury and Jupiter, which is the mutable cross. They know that this who has power, and it's divided. Jupiter rules the water. So, literally, he's controlling the money. But it's a fiat money, which is coming from Gemini. So it's a Pisces-Gemini axis is ruling the current fiat currency of the central banks that are ruling the world. And we're over here in Virgo. We are the law of the land, Virgo, Earth, and we have been superseded. The law of the land was superseded by corporations, which come from Gemini. So there are no countries. They are all corporations. You are a corporation. That's why your name is in all caps on your birth certificates. That means the law of the land was superseded by the law of the water. She was flooded, and which brings us to Revelations. And I saw the woman, and he took her off into the wilderness for time and a half a time. And then the beast sent a great flood, Pisces, after the woman, Virgo. But the earth, Virgo, opened her mouth and assumed the water, so she wasn't destroyed. And that's what happened to this country in America. Maritime law, Pisces, overtook the law of the land. Commerce law now rules the court systems because it's all about money. Everything was incorporated. Your cities, your towns, your churches, when they went 50c3, that's an incorporation. Everything. Everything is incorporated. If you want, if you have a civil matter, there are very, very few civil courts left in this land. I think on a federal level, there might only be 2 or 3 in the whole country on a federal level. because we live in money world, we live in water world, we live in commerce world. And some of them live in the past. Now, when Musk moved Twitter from Gemini to Virgo, Google came out with Gemini. It's AI. It's artificial intelligence. Now, we just all went through, they showed it to us, CV-19. That's what they showed us. And that was very clear. It was 3, 2, 2, AI. It was all about AI. Now, when you flip across the pond to Britain, they have the BBC, which is 2, 2, 3. Everything from the UK flips to the United States. It's mirrored, it's backwards, it's reversed. Remember that. Always remember that. Because the United States, this corporation, is owned and controlled via the money by the Crown of the UK. When I say the Crown of London, it's a financial district in the middle of London, and they control the fiat currency, the central banks that go out through the world. And it's run by a bunch of skull and bones pirates. They're robbers. That's what they do. They steal, kill, and destroy. They rob. They're thieves. Christ told you that on either side of him were 2 thieves. 2 thieves have been crucified on either side of him. One begged for mercy and got it, but the other one did not. You need to keep that in mind as well. Now let me go back over here real quick. And I want to take you to Gemini. Because who's controlling the UK with all this, and the United States, with socialism, communism, and all of that? Socialism, communism, and all that's coming out of Sagittarius to start with. That's Jupiter. But when you're in Sagittarius, you look up into the night sky and you see Gemini. And everything over there, I would say, since World War II has been controlled, or before that really, I think they started both world wars, is controlled by a group called the Fabian Society. Remember that word. You're going to be hearing it a lot in the future. The Fabian Society. And their symbol is 2 dogs, Sirius and Procyon. Sirius and Procyon. And to me, and I learned years ago, I don't even remember where I learned this now, but that the Jews were very interested in shifting the earth to a point where Procyon would become the pole star. Isn't that interesting? So now I see the big Sirius, the big dog, which is Lucifer, is the UK. This is who they venerate. And the little one who they prop up is what we today call Israel. But it's not really Israel. It's not the real people. It's not the real country. It's not the real anything. It's a 100% fabrication. They are sheep's in wolves' clothing. They are not the sheep. They are the wolves. They've just put on a bunch of wool and told you, see, I look like a sheep, but they're not. They're not who they claim to be. To start with, the New Testament defined what a Jew was. And a Jew was not somebody who was circumcised in the flesh. They were circumcised in the heart, which is Venus, not Mars. To circumcise in the root chakra, your phallic, is Mars. You have to be Venus circumcised in the heart. And that's going to be Libra and Taurus, the heavens and the earth. That's where you have to be circumcised. The root chakra circumcision is water and fire. Those are the god of forces, or the god of fortresses, which is mentioned in the book of Revelation. Now, I'm going to jump back a few hundred years to Elizabeth I, because this is when all of what we're seeing today actually got off the ground. John Dee was the forerunner to Crowley and what we're experiencing today with the Fabian Society, of them trying to make everything social. The Fabian Society's ideology is there's only the aristocracy and the rest are peasants. So they have to get rid of what they call the bourgeoisie, or the time of the Gentiles. It's the merchant class, again, which is Waterworld. And they want to get rid of that. They consider them bourgeoisie. So they're getting rid of the middle class. So you only have a welfare class and then the uber elite aristocracy. Self-appointed, self-crowned, self-idolized, all of that. You don't have a liberal arts education, so you're not one of them. You don't participate in their blood rituals, so you're not one of them. This is why they don't like Trump. Remember me telling you, even in these two factions, there are two dogs. There are two camps. And they're fighting each other. One is Waterworld, water, and the other one is masculine and one is feminine. And that's what they're doing. Now, we've already been over the first prophecy ever laid down was, I will put my enmity between the seed of the serpent and the seed of the woman. And we find that legend over here in the upper houses of the constellation of Scorpio. Because you have the Hydra and the dragon. And he's got his foot on the dragon's head. That's where this comes from. You can also get to the dragon from Virgo. You go Virgo, Arcturus, the dragon. And this is Shakespeare, by the way. Arcturus is freaking Shakespeare. And to be a writer, you got that Virgo energy. To be an orator, you have the Gemini energy. To be a speaker, you're Gemini Mercury dominant. To be a writer, you're Virgo Mercury dominant. So this is dead on Shakespeare. Now John Dee and his buddy Kelly, when they first started scrying and channeling these entities, these spirits, these stars, hear me, they are channeling stars and planets. What we call stars and planets. They're living conscious entities. They have great knowledge, and we all have access to them. But they predominantly channel the energy of Gemini. Or Sirius. Let me be even more specific. It's Sirius that they're channeling. It's Luciferian energy. Right here. And it's who Crowley was channeling. It all has to do, they channel these. Orion, Gemini, Capella, and they want to control the Pleiades, which is the flock. And the flock today sits here in the head of Leviathan, which is the beast that comes out of the sea. The beast that comes up out of the sea is fiat currency. It's maritime law. That's what's ruling this whole shebang. Now, in the maritime law, in the in the solar calendar that has been superimposed, that is 23.5 degrees off, it has the, to them, the sun rises in the spring equinox right here at the end of Aries, the beginning of Pisces. To them, that's the spring equinox. That's the power line. To where we're way over here at the last decan. Ours, if you look where the sun actually is, it's right here. Let me put some dots. So we're right here. Their calendar is right before this change, which is why they're moving, why he moved Twitter from here to here. Because he's run, even Musk is running on this 23.5 degrees off solar calendar. I call it the Leaning Tower of Pisa. And it's going to be into pieces. But we're truly here, but they've convinced the world that we're over here coming into Aquarius. When there's no symbolism of Aquarius. To now, Christmas. All this is going to come together in the end, but I need to jump back and forth. Because Christmas happens here. But in the solar calendar, they've got it way over here. They've still got Capricorn in. Why did you do that? They've still got Capricorn in the winter solstice because of the calendar they're using. They start Capricorn at December the 19th. Which puts the winter solstice in Capricorn, and it's not. It's way the F off now. So, but when the sun is rising in Sagittarius and Santa Claus comes at night, they're venerating the stars of Gemini. The star on the top of your Xmas tree is Sirius. It's the brightest star in the sky, the shining one, the bright and shining one that we're told is Jesus. I've been telling you, the New Testament is two stories superimposed together. One gives you the Son of Man, and the other one's giving you the Son of God. They just don't tell you which is which. And the Son of God, well, in this age, God is Jupiter. The Son of God, Jupiter, is Mercury in Gemini. That's the Son of God. And he's not who you think he is. His name is Jesus. But the Son of Man, the story they stole and changed, is Aquarius. And Fomalhaut is the star of Bethlehem. He's born of the tribe of Judah, which is Leo, not the fake lion, Lynx over here in Gemini, the rampant lion. And the star in Leo, when the sun is in Leo, that night, the star of Bethlehem is Fomalhaut. There's no ifs, ands, and buts about this. The symbolism doesn't lie. The books lie, the teachers lie, the rabbis lie, the priests lie, the imams lie, everybody's lying. And most of them believe the lies they tell. But this Jesus character, which I don't like using his name, because it's Jesus is Jesus, which is the son of Zeus, or the Son of God. We need the Son of Man, which is the sun in the sign of the man, Aquarius. This is when we're free from the alchemy of this mutable cross that is about change, 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 change. What they do every generation, they pull the rug out from under the previous generation, and they can't stand anymore. And they're doing all of this with symbolism. It's why I'm so adamant to you, please, please, get all these corporate logos off your person and off your property. Because we know not, I'm including myself in this, we know not what entities we are evoking, invoking, or provoking. You just don't know. Because a symbol carries a frequency. It's a sound wave. and it manifests in reality. That's the way this place works. It's about symbolism. The symbol is so powerful. But if you know how the symbol works, how that magic works, it doesn't affect you. So please, please learn the symbols of alchemy. Learn these astrological symbols and all the different zodiacs and star lore in Stellarium. There used to be so many more, and so much of that is still being scrubbed. The more we expose it, the more they go back and try to cover up their tracks. Which tells me, yes, they know the truth, and they know that what they're presenting to the whole world is a freaking lie. Now, when John Dee and Kelly started scrying these scrolls, the first question they ask, I've told you this before, is how do we get out of here? What a strange question. You have an entity that, as far as you know, could be God himself, or Satan, or Jesus, or Buddha, or whoever. And that's the first question you ask. Where is that coming from? What do they know that they ask this question? Why? Why that question? Because they knew the truth. They knew they were trapped. So how do we get out of here? And they were told the answer was twofold. First, you have to learn to turn matter into energy. And then you have to learn to turn energy into matter. This is Manifestation 101. That's how it works. I'm telling you how it works. It works through the symbolism. To manifest, to turn that energy back into matter, it's Star Trek. It's the transportation room where you demolecularize and remolecularize somewhere else. You disintegrate over here and you reappear over there. So you get out of here to get over there, and you got to disintegrate molecularly and reintegrate on the other side. And that's what they wanted to know. But then the kicker comes. What the price you have to pay to get that, to do that. For this entity they were working with, Sirius, the dog star, to get this information, they were told they had to do some things. They had to perform some rituals. And one of the rituals they had to perform was that they have all things in common. That includes their wife and children. And they also practice blood magic. Blood magic was really ramped up with Crowley. Before Crowley, it was only exclusive to the elites and the priesthood that were under the royal aristocracy across Europe. But it moved into the lower classes, the Crowley classes, the stars, the entertainers, the educators, those who sucked up to the aristocracy and served under their rule. So the elite, their marriages are not like ours. They all have open marriages, period. There's no such thing as adultery to them. For that matter, there were times when the king had the right, anybody in the aristocracy that got married, the king slept with the wife first. He got to sleep with the wife first. And then it's a free-for-all. They swap amongst each other. We call them swingers, but it goes deeper than this, because these children, their children, are sexualized, like what they're doing to our children now. They're trying to get the whole world to act like they act, to live under the laws they live under, so that their kingdom stays manifest. So they want to trans our children. They make their little boys their little girls. You know, I used to think, man, all these queens and princesses and everything across Europe, these are some ugly women. Why don't they marry beautiful women? Well, they're not women. The women are men and the men are women. They switch them out. They pump them full of hormones. They do all kind of shit to them. But the worst thing they do to them, which is what they're trying to do to all of our children, is they sexualize them from birth. From birth. And it has to do with tantric sex magic, and that stimulation, and that energy, and that blood sacrifice. Some of their children are raised to be sacrificed and eaten. Some of their children are raised to produce babies. That's all they do. Some of their children are raised to rule. And they each have their own place. And we're watching this play out. You know, I don't know how many of you are aware of, like, this facade of the Prince Harry thing and Meghan Markle thing that's going on over here. That's 100% fake. These two, I don't even believe they live together. She's nothing more than an intelligence agency asset, a honeypot asset. He's over here working with the Aspen Institute and online censorship and all that crap, and he's probably fixing to get deported because of it. But their agenda over here, what you see in the media with the Oprah interviews and the documentaries, that's all distraction. It's all bullshit. So you don't see what they're really doing. They're over here subverting the Constitution. They're trying to destroy the woman, Virgo. The United States, North America, not just the United States, but North America, astrologically falls under Capricorn. But because we are in a mutable age, all earth energy is mutable. So all earth energy falls under Virgo. Period. And that includes the United States, Africa, and Australia. Those are the three earth signs. And they all are bound under Virgo energy at this point. When Capricorn is the United States, under the crown chakra, South America is Aquarius, under the air sign. Virgo is Africa, and Virgo is Australia, and Taurus is Africa. And but all the energy runs from here for earth magic. Now we're told to take up our cross, whether it be fixed, mutable, or cardinal, and to follow him. You're in this world age, but you're not of this world age. This world age symbol is the X. And it has 4 colors, red, yellow, black, and white. We've been through this. They all do. They all have the 4 elements. But this means change. Period. Up and down. Elon Musk. He's not who he says he is. I haven't even looked at his chart. I don't even know his birthday. But I'm going to do it. Because I don't even have to do it. I already know that he is, I wouldn't say a puppet, but he was raised like one of them. Let me put it to you that way. We've seen he's part of the Black Eye Pea Club, where you get the black eye. Yeah. That happened with the Amber Heard honeypot event with him. But he's gone rogue. Trump was never a part of them. There are differences between werewolves and vampires. Werewolves, they do their rituals on the full moon. But these vampires, they're walking around out in daylight now. They feed openly. They're not hiding it anymore. They want to feed daily. They don't want to just drink the blood anymore. They want to bathe in it. And to do that, they love war. War is using that root chakra, Mars energy for war. Aries is that's their lifeline. That's their life support. They couldn't exist without it. They must have war, which is what they're trying to throw us into. Now, I'm going to cut to the lot of chase and get around some of this and just let you know. The United States got taken over by the UK a long time ago. A long time ago. And that's on the physical front. Then you had Rome. The bankers of London took over our economic system back in 1913. It's been over 100 years. And it's changed in that time to make us to where we have nothing now. Our money's worthless. Everything is worthless. And every time they crash our economy, they come in and buy everything up, let us build it back and do it again. Why do they do that? Because when you really want to destroy somebody, you get their hopes up first. Now, I will say that I am watching a battle that I'm not a fan of Trump at all. I don't believe in politics, but I am watching that economic battle happen. I understand what's going on with Venezuela does not have to do with the drugs coming into America. It more has to do with who's profiting off of that, which is the Crown in London. Everything runs through London. Everything. If it has to do with money, it's going back to London. And this is their cash cow. And they use that to run MI6, the CIA, Mossad, the Five Eyes, Canada, United States, the UK, Australia, New Zealand. They run their psyops off of drug money. And they're using Venezuela to do that. And everything is multiple fold with them. So not only are they using all this covert money they're making, they're poisoning the people in this country at the same time. They hate the woman. They're the dragon, and they hate the woman. This old world's fixing to die. I've told you a long time ago. This story ends with the destruction of Europe. Not of America, of Europe. America is the future. America is part of the crown. America and South America and North America are the crown. The real crown. Not the one in Europe. They're all fake. They're all, they're not the heir to the throne. They're the spare. And they're no longer needed. Don't need a spare anymore. That's why you're watching the Harry William thing being played out. Because it's manifesting on every level. They're not the real crown. The highest title held in Europe is King Charles. And his title is the Prince of the Power of the Air. But he's only a prince. And he's a prince that's not heir to the throne. But Aquarius is. And that's South America. And it's going to come out of Peru, which again is why they're attacking South America as well. They got overrun with socialism first. But just here in the past couple of years, we've watched Argentina overthrow the socialism. Chile just voted them out. Ecuador's voted them out. El Salvador. More and more countries are getting on board to get rid of this socialism policy that has been strangling them that's coming out of Europe. All of this comes out of Europe. Europe and Asia, which are water and fire, which are ruled by Jupiter and Mars. Jupiter and Mars, sun and the moon, Jupiter and Mars, war and ideology. Jupiter rules religion and ideology, and Mars rules sexuality and war. Emotions. And those are the gods they worship. Period. But they're channeling all their knowledge from Gemini. This is where they're getting their playbook. Now Trump's thrown a ring in the bucket because a lot of what he is doing that people don't understand. I mean, I know the economy's tanking. I feel it. Here it is December. I still have a $500 power bill this month. I shit you not. And my heat is gas. And I'm not even using it. It's going to be 80 degrees tomorrow here on Christmas frickin' Day. And I understand my Wi-Fi is down because the GPS tracking system. My power bill is so high because we're paying the energy on those damn data centers that's running that shit. And they're sticking it to the people here. I don't know if that's happening to you, but I have all these new add-on charges. My wattage hours are through the roof on what it costs per hour. My hour usage is down, but my bills are steadily going up. I can't afford them anymore. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I'm facing a disconnect on the 30th on that. Everything is going up. I can't afford it anymore. I'm fixing to be forced to move, or something drastic has to happen, or I'm going to be homeless. And at this point, I don't even have a van to live in. And again, really, I don't even care. I don't even care anymore, because I gave up a long time ago. I let go. And I accept. I try to stop it, but what happens, happens. I've sat here and watched everything in my house break this year and wondering what's going on. I see the pattern. What's the common denominator? The common denominator is, Lavette, get ready to let it all go. Just let it all go. I shouldn't have replaced anything. I should have just accepted it when it failed, because change is coming. X is coming. Change is coming. And I don't know what that looks like. I don't know what that means for me. But I know it's going to be okay. I'm not worried about it. I'm not upset about it. I'm not stressing about it. It is what it is. We are in this mutable age. We must adapt and overcome. And that's what I've done my whole life. Growing up in Generation X, that's what you learn. You learn to adapt and overcome. Having struggles in school, flitting into this clique or that clique, you adapt, you overcome. Having trouble at work, don't get it, you adapt, you overcome, or you change jobs. You deal with it in one way or another, but you freaking deal with it. You take the responsibility and you move forward, and that's all any of us can do. And I know a lot of you are in the same shit shape I'm in. And I know it clearly. Every year, I don't celebrate Christmas. To me, it was always for the kids. I don't mind any of it. The symbolism is what the symbolism is. I used to love doing the Christmas thing for the children, but it never really meant a whole lot to me. But every year, I didn't decorate, but everyone would send me Christmas cards, and that was my decoration. I found beauty in it, and joy in it, and the happiness of receiving and giving and loving and sharing, and just somebody thought enough about me to send a card. This year, 0. I did not get a single card. Today, I had someone send me, I guess like an e-card. That's the only one I got. Period. And I really wasn't shocked. I kind of knew. I know everybody is struggling as much as I'm struggling. And the last thing that we're going to do is Christmas cards and stamps when people are struggling to get food on their table this Christmas. I'm seeing it here. I'm watching these people freaking out around me about their power bills, and people that have management position jobs are in the food lines. They're in the food lines. I'm watching these older women, these seniors that live around me, that live on Social Security. They're living on $700 a month, but they're only getting less than about $25 to $75 a month food stamps, while illegals and others are getting hundreds and thousands of dollars in food stamps. And to me, this is all by design. They want to eliminate us, and they're moving everything at a really fast pace because they know their time is almost up. If they don't pull this off, and they still have 2 rituals left to do here in America to pull this off. If they can pull off these next 2 rituals, then the deal is done, because they're creating a seal to seal the deal. I need to stop and deal with Kelly. I hate breaking my train of thought, but it is what it is. All right. Poor Kelly. She's getting so old. She's really blind. She can barely see at all anymore, and which is causing her to have accidents. She's missing a big old chunk out of her ear. I don't even know how it happened. I just saw the blood everywhere, and I'm like, oh my God. And it's just awful. The poor girl. And I know she's not going to be with me much longer. That I can clearly see the common denominator of the pattern in my life right now. That I am being stripped of everything all over again. This pattern has repeated through my life. No matter what decision I made, where, it didn't matter the who, what, where, when, why, and how. This is the pattern. And it's change, adapt, change, adapt, change, adapt. And that's where we're all headed. So, get ready. There is light at the end of this tunnel. But it's going to be hard to get there. And I'm going to try to post as many videos as I can between now and the end of the month. And which might be the end of me. Until I can regroup, reestablish, or whatever the hell happens. But I need to get as much of this out as I can so that you can defend yourselves. You need to protect yourselves because nobody's coming to do it for you. Nobody. Let's get back to Santa Claus. Let's go back over here. Because the sun dies on the 21st. Let's back this up. The sun died on the 21st, and which means it stopped moving. And it sits there for 3 days. 1, 2, 3. And on the third day, it rises at that morning on the 24th. So back on the 21st, Santa Claus comes at night, which again, Santa is part of what we call the third eye. You have the claustrum sitting right next to the thalamus. Santa Claus is there with what we call Jesus. Jesus and Santa Claus are buddies. They live next door to each other at the freaking North Pole. And all these flat earthers, and you're thinking all of this is at the North Pole, and Hyperborea is at the North Pole, and Mount Meru's at the North Pole. It's all in your damn head. Literally, it's your brain. It's your brain. It's not about the North Pole of the Earth, or are we on flat Earth or hollow Earth. The Earth is the freaking third eye. That's how this manifests here. Why does it manifest on this spot and nowhere else? Because this is the third eye of the cosmic mind. It's where the manifestation happens. Here. Right here. Everything else is projected down to here. All the world's a stage. We're merely players. Performers and portrayers. Each another's audience inside this gilded cage that the elite are trying to get the fuck out of. But there is a way out. We're told there's a way out. But it's not their way out. Their way out is to demolecularize and remolecularize, or jump from one body to another, to soul snatch, to body snatch and move their souls from one to another. That's how they get out. But we, as sentient, conscious entities that are just sojourning here in these bodies temporarily, we can get out. And you do that by activating your pineal gland. Period. That's the way out, is to go in. Now Santa Claus, the claustrum, goes down the chimney. That's down your spinal column. And he lays the presents at the foot of the tree. That's your sacral spot down at the bottom of your 33rd vertebrae at the bottom. Actually, it starts at the bottom, 1, and 33 is at the top. It sits to the atlas bone, which upholds the skull. Atlas upholds the world, right? So, ironically, that sacral down at the bottom, it's the shape of an elephant. Remember that. Everybody forgets the elephant in the room. Your root chakra is a freaking elephant. And Santa Claus, claustrum, comes down the chimney, down the spinal column, and he puts the presents in the bottom. Now, you can open those presents and spend them right there on Christmas Day. Right there on Christmas Day. Let's move it up. Right there on Christmas Day, you can open those presents. And you've spent it in the root chakra. And you can do that by, having sex. Not by having sex, by having an orgasm. Because you can have sex without having an orgasm. But once you have an orgasm, you've spent that Chrysos, that christening oil that comes from Santa Claus, from the Claustrum. And what you need to do is let it go back up the spinal column. And let me get this right, because it's different for everybody. Listen to this very, very carefully, because Santa Claus is coming coming down the chimney tonight, and he's going to drop something for you in your sacral position. And then it's going to do not have sex. You need to start fasting. Everything they're giving to us is backwards. Don't open the presents. Don't start eating a bunch of damn food. You need to fast. I don't call it pray. You just need to contemplate, or to stay in the upper chakras. And when your birthday comes, once a month, the moon passes by your birthday. And when it does, you need that fluid that's down in the elephant to come up to the solar plexus. So don't have sex, which means don't open the presents, and don't stuff yourself with a bunch of food. Eat minimal, eat clean, eat living food, if you must eat it all. And so once the moon, the day before, the day during, and the day after your birth date, that the moon is there on your birthday, it happens every month. That moon comes around every month. When it gets there, it will energize that. When it's there at the solar plexus, you can use it to heal your body. Okay? If you don't use it to heal your body, then it keeps climbing up all the way to the pineal gland. And this whole thing will happen within just a matter of days into weeks, depending on how long you drag it out. Because your next stop after energizing it in the solar plexus is your heart chakra. And that heart chakra needs to be contrite. It needs to be giving, loving. This is why I'm telling you, there are more reasons than just karma for me telling you to commit those random acts of kindness. It needs to become habitual in you. Habitual. Like breathing. You need to learn to love and to give and to share and to self-sacrifice. Because when it hits that heart, that triggers the thalamus. And the only way to get to the pineal is through the thalamus. Through thalum. Nobody comes to the Father but by me. Now we're in the last stretch of Saturn being in that crown chakra. When he turns around and he gets back into Pisces, the whole world changes. Because he's coming in to stay. He's not coming in, he's not dipping his toe in the water. He's going to dive in, head first. And all hell's going to break loose here. Because Saturn is the crown chakra. Period. And no, it's not Satan. I don't give a shit who tells you that Saturn is Satan. He might be Satan to the elite. He might be the elite's Satan. But no, he's the Son of Man's God. But we've had two stories superimposed over each other, so we can't tell what the truth is. But the symbolism doesn't lie. It just doesn't. Now, when you put that star of Sirius up on that Christmas tree, with all those lights, it's crazy what they've got us doing. And that's very Germanic, by the way, Germanic, which is ironic because very few words, especially when you're referring to peoples, end in that ick sound. Normally we have the ishes, the ites, and the eons, but then you have the Germanic, the Hebraic, and there are several different words that when you use that suffix that end in that ick, which is ikbon. You can also change the word German that we have today. If you actually translated the Bible correctly, there is no Mount Hermon. It's Mount German. Or there is no German, they're Hermans. I don't know how to explain it any more than that. There are a group, let's call them angels, because that's the word that's used in the Bible. And 1 out of 3 of them fell. A third of heaven fell, which is Gemini. There are 3 air signs, Libra, Aquarius, and Gemini. And a third of the heaven that fell, the stars that followed, the 200 angels that fell from Gemini to Virgo. And that's what we're dealing with right now. These are the entities that we're dealing with. These are the rebellious ones. All of the symbolism in Gemini belongs to Prince Charles. He's the prince of the power of the air. They are the children of disobedience. He's the lawless one. It's not just him, it's the whole crown. It's the whole lineage. The whole lineage. Because they're Germanic. They're not even British. The closest thing to British, Scotland, Ireland, Wales, and even England, the closest thing ever on that throne for the last 1,000 years would be William if he gets it. Because Diana she does have that real Anglo-Saxon blood. But they do not. They don't have it. They all came from the Eastern Bloc in Europe. They're Denmark. We're going way back to 1066 and William of Orange. Okay. Holland, the Netherlands, Denmark, that whole area over there. That's where these people come from. And when Victoria got in, she brought in the heavy Germanic line that also descended from Denmark, or the tribe of Dan, the Danmark. So the Bible story is true if you know how to read it. Now these people calling themselves Jews, they're not. Even their religion is not Jewish. It's Babylonian Talmudism. And that's the script the elite run off of. They all are Babylonians. They're all, they call it Babylonian sun worship, but that's not actually what it is. It's not the sun they actually worship. They worship the darkness. They consider themselves the enlightened ones, and everything else is just darkness. But they're Babylonians. They're not Jews. They're not Hebrews. They're not Israel. They're not any of that. Not by blood, not by heritage, not by religion, not by law, not by any of it. They're all Babylonians. And to me, if I look at the really, really big picture, and I think Daniel is more relevant today than Revelation, because people don't even understand Revelation or where they're at. But you have, in the book of Daniel, Nebuchadnezzar's statue, which represented, and we're literally told, even Daniel told Nebuchadnezzar, you are that head of gold. And then the Medes and the Persians came next, and they were the silver empire. And then you had the bronze empire. And then you had those 2 legs of iron, which were the Roman Empire, split between Constantinople and Rome, or as I refer to them, Remus and Romulus, which is another funny thing about Elon Musk and Remphan, because he is His initials are ERM, which is an anagram for REM, which is REM sleep, REM fan. But all of these elite Babylonian worshippers, before the flood, we only had one language. And we didn't have an alphabet at all. Everything was done in symbolically. The architecture, the art, that was the language. It was all symbolism. And they still rule off that. They still talk to each other that way in their art and in their symbolism. But we were cast a spell over us because we were given language. We were given alphabets, is what we were given. And we just daily cast spells on ourselves. It's even in the words we write cursive. It's a curse. It's a cursive. So anyway, we need to break these spells that they've cast over us, these Babylonian spells. And to do that, people, you have to learn the symbolism, and you have to look over the narrative, the storyline, and all of that to see what's really going on. And we are being inundated for some reason. Well, she's Virgo. She's the prize. America's the prize. The whole world's fighting over it right now. All of them. And Trump may not be the good guy. He may still be a freaking werewolf. But right now, he's the best we've got. Now, when you go back to Nebuchadnezzar's statue, and those two Roman legs start mixing the iron, which is Rome and Constantinople, with the clay, which is Virgo. Virgo is mutable earth. That's clay. You can make anything out of it. That's why America's so creative. We invent things and build things, and we do it with quality and exceptionalism. And then these other socialist countries take it, copy it. Corporations get it, get their hands on it, and it becomes less and less quality with more and more expensive. But that Virgo energy, it is pure when it's not being corrupted or ruled over. And she is the undefended one, which means we must defend our damn selves. And knowledge is power. If you don't have the knowledge to defend yourself, then we're doomed to just keep repeating this. We're doomed. If you want out of here, open your pineal gland. Go inward, not outward. God is not in the church. Only the guy with the money plate is there. And with the platitudes to make you feel good because you're sad and you're struggling and you need hope. We don't need fucking hope. Hope never got anybody anywhere. Faith never got anybody anywhere. We need to know. We need the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Because that's the only thing that can set us free. And once you know that truth, you are free. It's like once you open your pineal gland, you're sealed by the living God. And they might make your life a living hell, but they can't touch your soul. They can't touch your integrity. They can't touch who you are. They can strip me down and take everything from me again. Ask me if I give a fuck, because it's not going to change me. I'm still going to believe what I believe. I'm still going to be who I am, and I'm still going to keep doing what I'm doing when I can, where I can, how I can. I'm not going to stop. They're not going to stop me. They're not going to starve me, because there's one greater than me that sustains me. And I met him face to face. And you can too. I want to give you the gift that they don't want you to have. The only gift that matters. The only one. And it ain't their fucked up word Jesus. It's Thalem. It's the thalamus. That's where you need to get. And to get to him, you need to get to the heart. And to get to that, you need to make it through this Christmas without opening that present in the sacrum and letting it rise all the way to the top. Don't gorge yourself on heavy meals. If you're going to eat, eat early. Don't eat before you go to bed, which is when most people do. We just gorge ourselves on the holidays. They've got us just gorging ourselves for the next week. Why do you think they do that? The Christmas turkey, the Christmas ham, the roast beast, and it's all happy and family and fun. Yeah, it is. But it's also something very different. So the sun dies for 3 days. That energy, it dies down in the sacrum for 3 days, and then it starts climbing that ladder. 33 days, people. That's how long it should take. It should take 30 days for the moon to move, 28 days for the moon to move through everybody's cycle, and those 3 days that you need when it hits, when the moon starts coming in to your birth date, the day you were born, the day before, that day, and the day after, you need to fast. Don't eat. Just stay in meditation. Make sure you stay in the upper chakras at all cost. When, the Bible calls it fasting and pray. And you're supposed to go about life like normal. Nobody's supposed to look at you and think you're fasting. You're not supposed to be in sackcloth and ashes. Oh, woe is me. No. Your sackcloth and ashes are on the inside. But nobody on the outside. You're supposed to go on with your normal life. Paul said, I pray without ceasing. That means you always have it on your mind. It's always at the forefront of your mind. That you want to move it up 33 days. And there you stand before Atlas at the Migdala, Mary Magdalene on top of Mount Atlas. How's that one for you? Your 12 nerves are the 12 apostles, the 12 patriarchs, the 12 constellations, the 12 energies, earth, water, fire, and air, fixed, mutable, cardinal. It's all there. It's all written in the stars. That's why I do this from here instead of from the Bible. Because the Bible's been manipulated. The scribes scribbled the scriptures and they gave us Bible, Bibble, Babble at Babylon. Back to the Bible. That statue that mixed itself with clay, with Virgo. And it can't stand. Trump is like the stone that's coming out of heaven that's crushing those 10 toes of iron mixed with clay. Because it can't stand. They don't mix. American freedoms and American liberties and the American way of life, this Virgo way of life, does not mix with the Gemini Sagittarius. It just doesn't. They're supposed to balance each other out. And one support the other in that X. One supports the other in the X. But that's not what's going on. They're trying to circumvent it and get rid of it. And then Musk comes in and adds the second line. All right, he's got a whole new, that's AI right there. That's that whole new intelligence he's brought in. Which these computers, the AI, they're just demonic portals. And are there portals? I won't call them demonic portals because your body is a portal. And whether it's demonic or not is how you choose. Whether it's angelic or demonic. Whether it's lower chakra or upper chakra. Where it benefits you in the world or it benefits you in the spirit, in your soul. But Trump appears to be crushing those 10 toes. That's what he's doing. That it's just no more. Like I said at the beginning of this, we've been under the Crown of London financial district since 1913. They've taken over the whole freaking world under maritime law and done away with the law of the land in every country by changing countries into corporations. And to get to you, they had to change you into a corporation. So they bankrupted the whole fucking world, and they said, okay, well, us bankers will loan you money, but we need collateral. So we're gonna incorporate your citizens under these certified birth certificates, and they'll be the collateral. That's why they call us cattle, because we're the collateral for the corporation of the United States of America Incorporated. And to me, unless Trump gives us our fucking birth certificates back, and I'm talking about the one the doctor signed in the hospital, not that shit that comes from your state capital that they put on your driver's license and all the other stuff, that straw man, then he's still just one of them. But if he gives our birth certificates back, then I'll see him as the stone that crushes those 10 toes. And then we'll get to see the sign of the Son of Man coming in the heavens. Now you can see that sign now. You've got 33 days. 33 days. And it can, in the next 33 days, it can happen to everybody on this planet. Once Santa Claus comes down that chimney, the only way is up. You can open that present on Christmas Day. You can save it till the moon rolls around into your house in the solar plexus and open it then to heal your body. Or you can hold on to it. And what did it say? Blessed are those who waiteth and cometh to the 40 days after. 40 days after. That, let me go find that for you, because I don't want to misquote this, because it's extremely important. Alright, I'm just going to go ahead and do this whole chapter quick, and I might come back here in the next few days and do every bit of Daniel, because I understand it now, like I never have before. I do have a crap load of emails I'm going to get to in the next few days. So those of you that drop me emails, don't think I've ignored you. I'm not. It's just I haven't gotten to them yet. I just finished up my job. Everything closed out. AI took over. I had a couple of part-time, just Christmas gigs that played out yesterday. So I'm just now resting, getting myself back together, and I'll get back in the groove. And I'm going to try to do as much as I possibly can in the next week, in case things do come to the worst. All right, Daniel chapter 12. And at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince, which standeth for the children of thy people. And there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time thy people shall be delivered, every one that shall be found written in the book. And many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awaken, some to everlasting life, and some to shame and everlasting contempt. To me, this verse right here is what I call, it's what some call the event, or the rapture, or the global awakening, or the convergence, or whatever you want to call it. To me, everybody's going to have what some would call a near-death experience, or a trauma shock that is so hard, it's going to trigger your pineal gland. It's going to trigger a near-death experience. And you're going to have a life review. This is a life review. When you wake up from the dust, and you either, you realize everything is love and roses and sunshine, or you're shame because you were a bad person. Everybody that you hurt, you're going to have to experience their hurt. Or on the first half, everybody that you are good to, you're going to get to experience their joy and their gratefulness and their thankfulness. And they that be wise shall shine as the brightness of the firmament, and they that turn many to righteousness as the stars forever and ever. That's 2 constellations. But thou, O Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book even to the time of the end of the age, the end of the aeon. It's not even the end of the age. This is an end of an aeon. This is the end of a statue that went through Gemini, Taurus, Aries, and Pisces. Shut up the words and seal the book even to the time of the end. Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased. AI. And to and fro means back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. AI. Then I, Daniel, looked, and behold, there stood other two, the one on one side of the bank of the river, and the on the other side of the bank of the river. And one said to the man clothed in linen, which was upon the waters of the river. So there's three. There's one on one side, one on the other, and one standing in the water. How long shall it be to the end of these wonders? The one standing in the water is in the waters of Pisces. Ba, ba, ba. And I heard the man clothed in linen, which was upon the waters of the river. And when he held up his right hand and his left hand unto heaven, and sware by him that liveth forever, that it shall be for a time, times, and half a time, when he shall have accomplished to scatter the power of the holy people, all these things shall be finished. And I heard, but I understood not. Then said I, O my Lord, what shall be the end of these things? And he said, Go thy way, Daniel, for the words are closed up and sealed to the time of the end. Many shall be purified and made white and tried. That's what we're going through now. But the wicked shall do wickedly, and none of the wicked shall understand, but the wise shall understand. And from the time that the daily sacrifice shall be taken away, and the abomination that maketh desolation shut up, there shall be 1,290 days. Blessed is he that waiteth and come to the 1,345 days. That's 40 extra days. From 2,290 days to the 1,305 and 30 days. That's an extra 40 days. 40 days and 40 nights. And in this timeline, from when Santa Claus comes down the damn chimney, you got 40 days. And Saturn is still in Aquarius. This is the last chance to dance. What you do with it is yours. I know there's a lot of distraction, and they're coming at us every way they can to stop us from achieving this. But only you can do it for you. Nobody's coming to save you. Nobody's coming to help you. This is between you and your God. And you have to decide which God, because there are 7 of them in your body. Choose this day whom you serve. The God of this world? You decide. If you want to be prosperous and fruitful in this world, then open those presents, because you're going to get exactly what your heart's desire is. When you open that pineal gland, your heart is what betrays you. Your heart says, oh, you've hurt so many people. Or your heart says, you were so good to all these people and these animals and each other and even yourself. You have to be good to yourself too. Make a difference in somebody else's life is how you make a difference in your own. It's more than just karma. But go thy way till the end be, where thou shalt rest and stand in thy lot at the end of days. There's so much to this book. But, yeah, we're definitely at the 10 toes of that statue that symbolically is just there. There's nothing you can do about it. There's nothing any of us can do to change that. It's written in the stars. The scribes can scribble the scriptures all the hell they want. They can change the calendar. They can run on. They've changed the lunar calendar in 2012 when Vedic astrology brought in Ophiuchus as the 13th sign. And how does that work when you squared the circle? And now, where does number 13 fit in that? They've done everything they can to hide it. But we're at the 10 toes. We're at the knowledge being increased. We're there. We went through, 3.5 years of freaking COVID bullshit under Biden. And now we've got this 3.5 years. And look at, as soon as Trump walked in the door, and trust me, I'm not Republican or Democrat. I give unto Caesar what's Caesar's. I'm in this world, but I am not of it. That's not me. I can't even imagine going in there and contracting myself up with a government to govern my mind. Oh, hell to the no. I have a crown. I'm sovereign. I don't need somebody to govern over me. I never did. Neither do you. You rule you. You do you. You worry about yourself, as Matt would say. And to do that, you go in. But to learn what to do when you get in, sometimes you have to go out. To me, it was a gift. I was just so traumatized and so abused as a child, but so awake that I couldn't accept it. And I was gifted. I don't know how to put it, but what happened to me can happen to you without the trauma. Without the trauma and the drama. All it takes is a little self-discipline. How bad do you want it? But let me give you this little secret before I close this video out. If you do happen to open your pineal gland and walk in that land of milk and honey and decide to stay here anyway, you're going to bring back magic with you, and you can move mountains. You can tell that mountain, be thou removed, and it will be removed. You can heal people. You can lay hands on them. That's what it tells you to do. Lay the hands on the people and heal them. You can heal those that you love. You can multiply the fishes and loaves that nobody will do without. And everything that comes from the heart. It's every freaking dream come true to you if you want to do that. Had I known that as a child, I would have done more. But I didn't know. I didn't know the power that I was given. And when you open that pineal gland, for the next 3 days after that, you're at your most powerful state, to where you can control the matrix. And you can control it with words. That's when the words become magic. Because you don't strike the rock like Moses did. You speak to it. You command it. You don't dig up the mountain and throw it in the ocean. You just tell it, be thou removed. You're out of here. You can command timelines. There's nothing that you can't command. For 3 days. Just remember that. And think long and hard right now that if you opened your pineal gland and you were given 3 wishes in 3 days, what would that be? Alright, I had another quick Kelly distraction. She is not well. Alright, before I close this out, I'm just going to go over this really quick because there's a lot going on here. Ironically enough, it has to do with exactly what I've been talking about, because you have the root chakra of Mars and the heart chakra of Venus are both combusted by the sun right now. All right there. And Mercury over here in the root chakra, in Ophiuchus. On the fixed cross, but this is all mutable. This is all mutable right here. And so, the sun, the light of day, is overshadowing, or blinded by the light, is shattering everything about the root chakra and the heart chakra. So this is not good, people. But this is during the day. And Santa comes at night, right? We got the moon here. It's great. You got Saturn almost with Neptune, but he's still in Aquarius. But you got Uranus still in Taurus. Great positioning for Uranus. Our conscious minds are grounded But we've got Jupiter over here in Gemini with Sirius and Procyon and Remus and Romulus, all in the same house. And these are the stars that are in the sky when Santa Claus comes. Jesus. I know, right? Now that was the perfect time to use that analogy. Jesus. But our real star of Bethlehem is almost conjunct the moon right now. How many more hours? Oh, that's on the 25th. I'm a day ahead. Oh, just hours away. So let's jump back to today. Let me just jump back to now. Let me pull this back. So the moon is in my house right now. Right now. So I have to wait till Santa comes down the chimney later tonight, and then it has to go all the way around and come back to my house because I'm first deacon. So I've got to wait a whole month, a whole 28 days before I can open my gift. Now, I don't discourage, let's call it puppy love. It's tantric. You can play, you can fondle, you can be frisky, you can be affectionate, but just don't have an orgasm. It's really that simple. As a matter of fact, the more you fondle, frisky, and just play, the more Santa Claus drops that claustrum oil down into the sacrum. Because it generates in the claustrum. It starts in the claustrum. It starts with Santa Claus at the North Pole and his elves, and Saturn in perfect positioning in Aquarius. So, as of tomorrow, you Aquarians, get the first shot at this. Starting on the 26th. In the wee hours of the morning. I mean, it's almost midnight when it crosses over. Literally. Right before midnight, it crosses over into Aquarius. So the Aquarians will have the first shot, 2.5 days, that you need to fast. You need to keep a smile on your face, stay in the upper chakras, be kind, be generous, be loving, be affectionate. Especially with your loved one. Be really affectionate. Really aroused. Put it that way. Aroused. Which is going to be difficult. Because we've got this Mars combustion. And the heart. And the heart. Everybody is just really emotionally and spiritually just disillusioned this Christmas. Nobody around here has lights. Nobody's buying gifts. I didn't get a single Christmas card. And boy, does that tells it all right there. Right there. I'm not shocked at all. It's literally written in the stars. But your minds are grounded. Your conscious minds are grounded. Even your subconscious mind is grounded because it's in Pluto. Pluto is in Capricorn. So our minds and our subconscious minds are extremely stable. Extremely elevated even. It's our imagination that is mutable right now in this water. Our imaginations are drowning in it all. In all this of the mutable cross. Because everything is there. And Mercury's fixing to crawl right on that mutable cross with them. When does he come in? On the 30th. On the 30th, he's going to move onto that mutable cross. And, of course, everything's still super combusted here, and he's going to move right into that combustion. He's going to move right in there with it, right there. Into Capricorn now. Good Lord. My birthday looks horrific this year. So this awful energy that we're feeling is going to carry right into next month. I'll do another video, just a video on the astrology of it all coming up. I won't leave us hanging. I will get there. It's just I wanted this video to go up before Santa comes, right? Before Santa gets here. And wake y'all up to more of the symbolism that's going on. Who's ruling the world? Who's pulling all the strings is the Fabian Society. They run the Chatham House, the Tavistock Institute, socialism. They're 100% completely that Gemini Sagittarius axis, especially Gemini, because they're the two dogs. Their symbolism is a black dog with a white dog that looks like the shadow, the smaller white dog. So Sirius is the black shadow dog, and the white dog is Procyon. And you know, I used to have a black lab that I call Praetorian because, goodness gracious, he was very protective over me. If my husband got up at night, I didn't even want the dog. My baby's father brought it home one day. I told him to take it back. Wrong dog for that kid. I knew it would end up as my dog. You don't give a child that small a hyper dog that's going to be big. And ended up with him anyway. And then now I have a white dog. So it's in my face all the time. And she really doesn't care about me at all. She prefers men. I'm just her servant, her maid. She's not affectionate to me. She doesn't give sugar. She's not happy to see me. None of that. I'm just her servant. So I totally get the energy of these two dogs, of these two wolves, should I say, because that's just not me. But I'm surrounded with it. So I know Procyon, which is what I should call her, is not going to be here much more. She's not doing well at all. I'll be shocked if she lasts another month. And also knowing that when she dies, that's my go signal. It's the only reason I'm in this house, is so she could have a yard, because I was no longer physically able to walk her. She would take me down to the ground every time I walked out the house, and I couldn't do it anymore. It was killing me, literally, physically killing me. But here she can let herself out. But it's got to the point now that even I'm having to assist with that. So she's got COPD, she's got cancer, she's blind, and she's just not doing well. I love her with all my heart. I wouldn't trade her for anything in the world. She's my baby. But she is not your typical dog. But I definitely get the symbolism, and I definitely get the lesson learned. Alright, people. I think I'm going to end this here. I do have at least 2 more videos that I want to pump out very quickly. And one's just going to be on the astrology of the coming year. And what can we expect. And I am going to do the Book of Daniel symbolism, because I'm watching it play out in front of me right now. I'm watching it happen. Or at least it appears to be. It appears to be playing out in front of me. And that really depends on where the dominoes actually fall, of whether I'm right or not. I think I am. I'm pretty sure I think I am. But I'll cover more of that in the symbolism of Daniel, because that's where I'm getting it from. More than Revelation is Daniel. Because again, Revelation is about what is, what was, and what will be. And that was from 2,000 years ago. What is 2,000 years ago? What was before 2,000 years ago? And what will be after 2,000 years ago? But Daniel is specific, talking about timelines. And there was the coming of the Messiah, and then there was the end of the age. The same thing in the book of Matthew. He asked 3 questions. When is the sign of your coming? When will these things be? And when's the end of the world? There were 3 different questions asked. But everybody wants to pile the answer into one timeline. And that's not how it works. All right, people. I love you bunches. More than you know. I wish you all a very Xmas, because that's exactly what it is. And I hope this video's helped you. Do continue to commit those random acts of kindness, but do it from the heart. From the heart. Otherwise, it's worthless. You're just going through the motions. You really need to not believe in what you're doing, but know what you're doing. The time for belief and faith and hope, we're past all that now. We need to know. We need to know the truth. And I think we're coming to that. We're starting to see a little bit more of it every day. And soon, when those who are asleep in the dust wake up, then we're all going to know the truth. And then nothing can change that. That's when the God of this world goes down. And then we can live. Not under the Son of God, but under the Son of Man, which was the promise to begin with. Not the son of Zeus, Zeus was a horrible character. Zeus is a horrible character. And to me, that's Jupiter. That's the Jew Peter who Balaam called Satan to his face. Alright, if these videos have helped you, won't you please help me keep them coming to you? You can make a donation on PayPal, Venmo, or a mailing address. I love you all, and hopefully I'll have another video up tomorrow.